giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Oh boy. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by the Cochran Firm and Boston Scientific. We streaming live on YouTube and Facebook, and of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! It is time to smoke on that Eagles pack. Yeah. It's Wednesday. That means we take our first look at the next opponent. The next opponent is Philly. Cowboys defense, Eagles offense. I think that's the heavyweight fight. So it was only right to start with that. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a look at that. But before we do all of that, I got another guys. It's called Other Guys. I got another guys segment that I want to spotlight some of the players, the unsung heroes. I hate to use that, but some of those players that played well defensively, some of the role guys. We'll get into that. Also, might have a special guest. Got to make sure my guy can come through, so stick around for that. That will be really good if we can get him in here on the horn. And then in the roundup, we will talk about a few injuries and a signing the Cowboys did to maybe be cautious, get in front of a potential situation later on down the line. And our guy, Micah, won Defensive Player of the Week. So shout out to Micah Parsons, man. But what up, Bomb Squad? Y'all ready, man?
Bomb Squad!
Y'all been trying to get me to talk about these Eagles since Monday, and I appreciate that. The Cowboys get the dub against the Rams. We like, all right, cool. We took care of business. Now let's move on to the real test, right? And I feel you, right? I feel you because these boys are 5-0. They're number one in the division, offense, all the moves and all that. I feel you. So here we are. We're finally here. And yeah, I watched the Eagles tape yesterday. I watched about 2.5 games. Yeah. The first game of the year, I don't like to put too much stock into it because it's week one. We've seen over the years, week one doesn't really pan out to mean much of anything. So I watched a little bit of that. I had watched that game live anyway, but I watched a little bit of that. Of course, we watched the Washington football people game, and then I wanted to see what did the Cardinals do in that game. So, there was a lot in there, and I came out of all those games like, I like our matchup. I'm just saying. I said this last week. I like how we matched up against the Rams. I like how we match up against the Eagles. But we'll get into all that later, man. We'll get into all that later. What's good with y'all, though? What's good? Nothing popped off yesterday. No football. We get football tomorrow. But when there's no football, that gives me a chance to get in the lab a little bit more and look at some of the Cowboys stuff. And on Monday, I dropped the Cowboys defensive film. We'll take a little bit, we'll take a look at that, especially if we get my guy on the horn. But I got these other guys I want to spotlight. They deserve some spotlight after that game. And really, over the last few games, they've been standing out. So stick around for that. Oscar said, as a person from PA, Sky, where does your hate for Philly come from? I'm a Cowboys fan. Living in PA as a Cowboys fan, especially, when the Cowboys haven't had a lot of success. I don't know where you're from, Oscar, but just imagine you are pretty much, I'm not in Philly, but I'm right outside of Philly, in the Lions Den, wearing the opposing team's, colors and jerseys and all that stuff every single day of your life. And you got to deal with a lot of failures that the Cowboys have dealt with. And they're succeeding, per se, right? Getting to the NFC Championship games and all that stuff. It's just natural. But then when you add all that on top of it, I hate them. Where does it come from? Come on now, Oscar. It's the Eagles. I don't hate the city of Philadelphia. No. I love the city of Philadelphia. When I go down there to shop and hang out and all that. Yeah, man. Yeah. The city cool. The city cool if you don't really live in the city. Like there's a lot that goes on, and my guy Koye can attest to that. There's a lot that goes on in the city, but yeah, man, I just hate the Eagles, dog. Basically, Swain, come on, man. Basically, I'm from Jersey and I hate Philly, says Nicholas P. Facts, man. Lee, come on, man. Lee know exactly what I'm talking about. You want to talk about a diehard fan? I bring this up a lot. I'll bring it up again, man. The dungeon, man, where a lot of this started at. He know exactly how I feel. We both from Harrisburg, which is right outside of Philly. When Shady got drafted to the Eagles, I think it took it to another level too, because he was our guy. And he went to the hated rivals. But yeah, I ain't feeling Shady on TV. But yeah, man. So that's I mean, I guess that's where the hate come from, but it's natural. But anyway, man, let's go ahead. Let's move forward. Let's get to this roundup. We got a jam-packed show. Probably going to be some overtime in today's show because we're going to get to all these segments. Got the phones. By the way, you can call in, but I probably won't get to you till after our guest gets through. 351-999-3787. And then we'll get to the phone. So probably going to be a long show, but I'm cool with it, y'all. So y'all stick around for that.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time. It's time.
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Oh, they do it. Hey, oh, they do it.
At the end of the day, it's always Philly, bro. I'm so hyped for this damn game. I'm trying to calm down. Hey, yo. Dalton Schultz. Might need you to sit down, brother. Came out. This is from Twitter. Dalton Schultz re-aggravated his sprained PCL in the win over the Rams. Per source, no new injury or damage, but as long as he makes it through the week, okay, he should be good to go Sunday night against the Eagles. I mean, we've said this over the last few weeks now. I mean, this is Ezekiel Elliott all over again. Did we not learn our lesson? Now, against Washington, he looked fine. I mean, he could have had a huge game in that game. Cooper Rush just don't throw to him. But he only played 10 snaps against the almost at the Chargers, against the Rams. So clearly it's not getting better. It's not going to get better. And it's not like these tight ends are a part of the offense in reality, aside from maybe blocking, right? The two tight end sets giving Cooper Rush some extra time. So I don't really think he's all that important right now. So sit him down, let him rest up, and we'll see what happens when Dak gets back and he's healthier, because then he does become a factor offensively when Dak is in the game. So sit down. I mean, that's how I look at it. And I wonder if the Cowboys are looking at it in a similar fashion, because they did sign a tight end yesterday. Seth Green, formerly of Houston, was signed to the Texans, but then he was waived at the end of training camp. So I wonder if they're looking at this, Cowboys Nation, like, all right, yeah, Schultz is said he's going to play. Yeah, if he gets to, he's good. But if we got an IR Dalton Schultz, we want to make sure we got a fourth tight end. If we're going to sit down Dalton Schultz, we want to make sure we got another guy just in case another person gets hurt, because Ferguson's been banged up. McEwen's been banged up. So we got to protect ourselves. So I do think this is a telling signing. I mean, it's not like this guy is, world beater or anything like that, but you do need the bodies. So I do get the signing. Let's keep our eyes out on this Dalton Schultz situation this week. Then finally, man, Micah Parsons, another update, a rarity, where you have Coach McCarthy, Jerry Jones, and Stephen Jones saying the same things to the media. Jerry came on the radio and said, frankly, we feel good about his practice tomorrow and to practice for the rest of the week. and playing on Sunday, kind of mimicking in a way what Mike McCarthy said on Monday. He said, hey, man, I saw him. He's good. We're fine. With the other Jones, Stephen Jones said on the radio about Micah, we feel good. We think he'll play. And then Jerry, we feel good. We think he'll play. Micah also won Defensive Player of the Week in NFC with his 5 tackles and 2 sacks and forced fumble to close out that game. Ridiculous. I think this is his first Defensive Player of the Week of the year. Think about this for a second. Micah got 6 sacks. All of his sacks have come on have come where he's had multiple sacks in the game. That's crazy. And then when Micah's not getting multiple sacks because they want to throw 3 guys at him or something like that, somebody else is getting multiple sacks. You know, I mean, I'm just going off the top of my head. Yeah. This is. So I was going on top of my head. A streak that nobody is talking about that I think is very interesting, Cowboys Nation. I think we're now 5 games in a row where one individual, and I could be wrong, has had multiple sacks. No, we're not. And 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. We didn't get multiple sacks from one guy against the Washington football people, right? Yeah. All right, so 4 out of the 5 games, an individual has had multiple sacks. I think that's impressive. Danny said we could break the 60 sacks. Yeah, the streak's over. I remember when Marv said that in the offseason, 50 sacks. It didn't look daunting, but we was like, oh, yeah, man, I would love 50 sacks. Now it's like, 50 sacks might be the minimum. We're at 20 sacks already in 5 weeks in. We're, 10 weeks in, that's 40. 15 weeks, that's 60. Yeah, so I could definitely see us getting 50 plus, potentially 60 sacks. So you'll love to see it. And you know what's so cool about the defense this year of improvement? Like, we all came into the season understanding, hey, man, you're probably not going to get the same turnover output as last year, because the turnovers in the third down defense is what really set the Cowboys apart. It wasn't the dominant shutdown defense, but they got the turnovers and they got off the field. We came in and we was like, hey, listen, they may not get the turnovers. It may not look the same, but this defense can, and a lot of us was like, will be better. You can be better in other aspects. And right now, those other aspects is, sacks, getting to the quarterback, red zone defense, right? And believe it or not, the pass defense, I know what happened last week happened, but the pass defense has been stifling for real. Now, he had like 300 yards. Stafford. 150 of them came on 2 plays. So, it's not like they was just crushing Dallas in the air. So this defense is just having a really good year, and we're definitely going to talk about that today because it's Cowboys defense against the Eagles offense. But before we do that, we shout out guys like Micah Parsons. We shout out guys like D-Law. Last week, Dorrance Armstrong had his second big day of the year. I mean, he's just coming along. I absolutely love the way he plays. By the way, did y'all see the sounds of the sideline? Man, I love those things. But I got to start taking out some clips from those, and we're going to play them after they drop. But there were other guys that I think made some good plays, some key plays in that game. And I want to talk about those other guys because they deserve some spotlight here. And if you haven't seen the movie The Other Guys, what are you doing? What are you doing? What I love about this defense, what Dan Quinn and Coach AD are doing with this front, and really everybody, but with this front, is they're maximizing these players' abilities and getting everybody to buy into their role. They're getting everybody to buy into their role. There's only a handful of dudes on this defense that are going to be the guys, right? That's why you have the other guys that got to step up. And one of those other guys that has completely bought into his role, to me, is Tristan Hill. Tristan not going to play a ton like the top end guys. Right now, he's only averaging 19 snaps per game. And honestly, that's about right. That's about right. You don't want Tristan out there for 40, 50 snaps. Because if you can get him out there for a maximized 19, 21 snaps, he's going to be on go for 100% of those. And one thing that Tristan has always been, even if he's been a head case or we don't know, is mentally, is he there and all that stuff, he's just been a violent player. He's been a bull in a china shop. And he plays like that. And if I can get him to play like that under a little bit more control, which he has been, for 19 snaps a game, he's going to be hard to deal with when he's the 6th, 7th man off the bench, and we're using a football standpoint, right? But in this instance, he's the 3rd and 4th guy off the bench. So after you got to deal with Osa, after you got to deal with Neville, after you got to deal with Bo, after you got to deal with D-Law or Armstrong when he slides in, or Micah blitzing up the A-gap, B-gap, you get a guy whose motor runs hot, who plays violent, who is going to be fresh, because it's not like, all right, I've been setting this way against him. I know how he's going to hit me. No, you don't. No, you don't. You only seen him like 3 snaps, and now you get him again for another 4. And you saw that play into his favor against the Rams defensive line. They just couldn't handle these waves, man. He had 2 tackles, 2 stops, a quarterback hit. And there was a play early in that game I think he learned from where, kind of that Rob Marinelli situation where just fire up field and he kind of got washed out the play. Fortunately, my man slipped. But after that, he said, okay, let me chill out. Let me get back under control. Got back under control, man. And made some plays. So did Sam Williams. Who is coming? Oh, man, Sam's getting close, man. Sam's getting close. He might not have a sack yet, but he's getting close. I came away from this game and pretty much every single game of Sam Williams since week 1. He didn't play much in week 1. I come away just more and more impressed with his strength. Like, we knew Sam was freaky athletic, but I think you're seeing how he had to deal with interior guys in the SEC. He had to deal with guards. So when he has to go out to a more athletic player with more room and a starting point to fire off the ball, and he gets his hands on you, you see that strength, man. You almost feel it when you see it. Like, God, man, strong. He had 3 more pressures in this game, 2 tackles, 2 stops, and another quarterback hit. That's 3 games in a row Sam has gotten a quarterback hit, and that's his second. And he had a tackle for loss, too. That's his second tackle for loss on the season. 3 games in a row with the quarterback hit, they coming. And what I love about Sam Williams' quarterback hits, and see, Sam violent, too. I said this on Twitter about this defensive front. They just play hungry, and they play violently. They're a violent group. Now, Sam got dinged already for a late hit. But if he don't sack you, if he hits you, I'm almost okay with that. Because you're going to get up and feel that. Did you see how, I think it was twice, Matt Stafford was just lying on the ground. The first one was Dorrance Armstrong with his head facing the ground. And he's just like, oh, it's going to be a long day, ain't it? And then at the end of the game, Micah Parsons, it wasn't Micah, it was Osa. Somebody pushed him into the ground and he just laid out flat. Quarterbacks feel these. They feel them. And they feeling Sam Williams. He going to get his, man. What did we say, squad? We said something like 4 to 6. He may not get 6 sacks, but I think 4 is going to come. I think 4 is going to come at some point. And then Anthony Barr. Barr is not the Barr of yesteryear, but he still continues to be the striker we talk about. And the name I'm going to, or the nickname or whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to dub him, is the Architect. Now, if you're a wrestling fan, Seth freaking Rollins is called the Architect because he was the architect of the Shield. I'm looking at Anthony Barr in that way. I think he's the architect at the second level of this defense. Remember how on Sounds of the Sideline they said, communicate, talk. That's Anthony Barr. He's getting guys in position. He's talking. You see his football smarts on full display, pre-snap and post-snap. You see a more short. Listen, I don't want to go back, but when we had Keanu Neal, when we had Jalen Smith, you didn't see a lot of these things. You're seeing that with Anthony Barr. So while he might not be as athletic, he still has some athleticism. And you combine that with his football smarts, and he's always where he needs to be. He's hardly out of position. He's not a hesitant guy. And he strikes. And he did that. 6 tackles in that game, 4 solo, 3 stops. I mean, I just really admire his play. And again, I understand it's not coming in the form of forced fumbles or interceptions or anything like that. But you hardly see Barr getting beat. You hardly see him being hesitant. You hardly see him being the reason XYZ is happening. Now, he's had a play or two like that, right, throughout the season. All of these guys have. But he's a consistent dude. My guy Voch calls Terrence Steele's steady Terrence, or steady Steele. That's what he calls him, steady Steele. I feel like that with Anthony Barr. He's a steady dude. Getting everybody in position, striking. Being the kind of test dummy, so Donovan Wilson, a Leighton Vander Esch, a Jaron Curse, a Malik Hooker, and Anthony Brown, somebody can make that play if I'm not making it. So those are some of the other guys that stood out. Who are some of your other guys that stood out in this game? I almost put Anthony Brown on there because AB, I don't know how many, we can look it up. I don't know how many targets, how many times he was targeted, how many receptions he gave up, but didn't give up a touchdown. Had played some good defense. When he was one-on-one in the red zone, if y'all follow the Voch Lombardi show, we was like, when you get to the red zone, they're going to target Allen Robinson. And I'm like, okay, here it comes. And what did he do? 1, 2, 3. Slant to Allen Robinson, and AB was in good coverage. There was another one. I think they had a slant. He had a tackle for loss. So, Anthony Brown technically could have been on this list as well. But the reason why I didn't, I guess you can say, is because I think Anthony Brown's been steady. Like, I think when you talk about this pass defense and when you talk about, glue guys in his defense, I think he has to be kind of included in this. Right? He's not the star of the Micahs, the D-Laws, the Trayvons, the J-Rons, and all the Ons. I'm saying he ain't the star, but he's one of those glue guys. Fowler, yes. Fowler has definitely been, I kind of want to say a glue guy, but you want to talk about 6-man. I mean, that's a hell of a 6-man to bring off the bench. Oh, Osa's not another guy, not from this game. Osa was one of the guys in this game. 100%. One of the guys in this game. See if my guy. So here's what we're going to do. We got a couple callers on the horn. I'm going to try to get one in and then see if we get the special guest coming through. And if so, we'll just go to that. So let's go ahead and hop into the phone lines. Pulse and Nation phone lines presented by the Cochran Firm. My guys Larry and Brian over at the Cochran Firm have been serving the DFW area since 2005. Not only serving the DFW area community, but fighting for you if you are a part of their clientele. They handle the most challenging civil cases involving personal injury, wrongful death, fraud, truck, and automobile accidents. We're talking about Dallas. So there's a lot of those. If any of these happen to you, hit up Brian or Larry at 1-800-THE-FIRM or schedule your free consultation today at CochranTexas.com. That means if you're in the Dallas, Fort Worth area or Houston, hit them up. Special guest Morgan Freeman. Hilarious. Nah, y'all going to enjoy this special guest. Best believe that. CJ. What's good, my brother?
Hey, what's going on, Scott?
What's up with you, man?
I just got one quick thing to say. Eagle fans, yeah, y'all undefeated, but I just got this one thing. Remember a level 9 and the other part, a level 9. The level 9 is the fuck around. You go fuck around and find out. at a level 9. Tell the Eagles they gonna fuck around and find out at a level 9. That is all I got to say, guys.
My God.
Bomb Squad, Cowboy Nation. Just let them talk so they can app around
and find out. Yeah. Yeah. My God.
All right, guys, man.
Appreciate you, CJ. Hey. I got to get that. I got to pull that out. Let me tell y'all something. If we they mess around and let Cooper Rush beat them on Sunday, I don't give a damn if Cooper Rush throw 2 passes for 50 yards. The memes, the drops, the actions that it's going to be ridiculous. I'm going to just tell you right now, if you are here for the professionalism, which I try to bring, Monday might not be your show, man. Might not. It might not be your show. You know? I remember when I signed up with this whole thing, the one thing I told him, I said, I see how everything goes here, you know. I appreciate what y'all do. But one thing I noticed that, you guys are diehard fans. So I just want to let you know, there are going to be multiple times, if not all the time, where my fandom is just coming out, man. So y'all need to be cool with that. Oh, yeah. And I remember one of the things they said was, well, we got to work on the we thing. And I tried. But I'm sorry, I'm invested. I got 40 years of investment in this thing. You damn right it's we. I hate when people do that. You can't say we. What you mean I can't say we? Yeah, all right. We, Cowboys Nation, Dallas Cowboys, we. Let us mess around and beat them with Cooper Rush. Oh, I'm going to be a problem on here on Monday. Hey, Reek, what's up, Reek? What we going to do on Sunday, Reek?
Man, we going to smash on these boys, man. They ain't ready for us yet, Sky, man. Hey, I look at it like this,
yes,
big bro. I look at it like this, big bro. We win, hey man. Like I think Voch going to jail if we go on to Philly and smash on these boys. I think Voch going to jail.
Yeah. Voch on Boy Live, y'all gonna be expecting him on Monday, and this is gonna be me. And I'll be like, listen, I done sent the bail money down to Houston. It just gotta go through my check-ins and savings, and then the 3 days, and then he be out. I got y'all.
Well, yeah, man. My whole thing about the game is, man, let's not let them control the tempo of the game. We should control the tempo of this game. We shouldn't let get too high, get too low, man. Just keep it even kill, and let the defense do the defense do the dirty work. We just gotta, like you said yesterday, we can't be doing this 3 and out stuff. Kellen Moore has to come with a better game plan and make sure that it's efficient on offense enough to give these boys some rest. They're going to need their rest because
that's a great point.
Jalen Smith in that offense is going to have them running sideline to sideline, up the middle. They vertical with it. You know what I mean? They got a lot of Jalen Hurts. They got a lot of stuff going on that offense as far as with that I forgot the name of it. Like, it's not so much the play action; it's him holding the ball,
RPO,
run it.
Yeah,
the RPOs, and he got a little bit better. We got to give him a little credit. He looked a little bit sharper than he was last year. You know what I mean? You can see he's getting their offense. He's starting to get it a little bit more. So we got to hit him, and when we hit him, we got to make it count.
Yeah.
So that's all I got to say about that. Oh, I had one more thing.
And
I don't know if you and Boston talked about it. Are we having a round table before the Philly game or after the Philly game? That's what's been on my mind. I know y'all been seeing it in the comments, man. All right, then. Peace.
Let me just tell you how in sync the Cowboys Nation is, man. He just asked about the round table. It's likely going to be after the Philly game. But hell of a segue. because maybe I'm gonna give you a little teaser of a round table. Let's welcome in our special guest, my good brother. I call him the wizard. I call him the doctor, the professor, the film guru himself.
He's in the building.
Okoye freaking Media, bro. What's good, famo?
Skywalker still, what's good? Can you hear me okay?
I got you loud and clear. I wasn't gonna mess this one up, man. I've been teasing the special guest this morning, and I told him he's gonna love it. And here we are. What's up with you, brother?
You use my hood ninja pose on the picture too. I like that, Joe. How you doing, man?
Oh, good, bro. You know why I use this one? Because remember when I made the edit for the round table, and you was like, "Nah, man, you got to. I'm sending you a different pic." So you sent me this one. I said, "Oh, I got to use this one then." Man.
Yeah, you looked like a school teacher that day. I remember that. But no, man. Perfect segue, actually. I thought you set that up. I was like, damn, that's actually dope that he asked that.
I did, right? Ain't that crazy?
I was listening, man. Give Cooper Rush some grace, man. Give Cooper Rush some grace. Everybody got to get off Cooper Rush ass, man.
But they really shouldn't be on him. He's doing what a backup is doing.
I mean, I think that Cooper Rush is like he saved this season. So when we get Dak back, of course we're gonna score plus 30. So I'm all for that. I think that Dak with this defense is gonna light it up because they're gonna give him the ball back enough times to. But we can't say enough for the fact that we even in the race, and in position to take over number one spot in this division because of Rush. So I'm happy with Rush, man. I ain't got a problem. I ain't got nothing bad to say about him. Nothing.
It shouldn't. I mean, no turnovers. He's just doing what he's asked to do, playing within himself for the most part, and not losing the game. And that's what the national media is not. They like to play, and even Cowboy fans, they like to play this versus game. But what they fail to realize in that locker room, that's not what it is, man. That's not what it is. They are fully behind Coop, and then when Dak gets back, they'll be fully behind Dak, and they all understand that there is another level that we can hit. When that happens. But yeah, it's funny you say he saved the seat. That's crazy when you think about it. Yeah, because what we had Ben DiNucci before, he couldn't win a game. The Brad Johnsons of the world, all those guys before Tony Romo, 1-11 without Dak or Tony. And then Mike gets here and Dalton wins 4 or 5 games. Andy Dalton. And now Coop wins 4 games. So yeah, man.
Yep, let's get it, man. But man, let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it.
I watched your defensive film breakdown, man. Which listen, I watch all your film breakdowns, but you are just excited as I am about this Cowboys defense, dog. Kind of your thoughts on what you're seeing on this defense.
I see a defense full of starters, and I didn't think about it before when we were putting it together in the offseason. We were just looking at guys on paper, but when you look up Hooker, you got guys like Parsons, Sam Williams, Tristan Hill. We got a lot of high draft picks, second to first round draft picks on this defense, number one. And then we got guys that step up and play above and beyond, the call of duty, like, your Wilsons and your Anthony Browns, who's having a lights out year too, Anthony Brown is. I think he's playing pretty damn good this season. We haven't heard the let's push Anthony off the bus conversation. But when you look at this defense, you see that Micah Parsons is drawing so much attention. It's creating one-on-ones or half-a-man situations for everybody else on this defensive line. And not saying that this D-line without him isn't good. And that's the crazy thing. With just D-Law and the rest of these guys, you have a good defensive line. With Micah Parsons, it's ridiculous because he gets to the quarterback, you already know, with 3 guys in his face. So it makes it so the rest of these guys don't have a problem, and we do not have to blitz.
Right.
When I was watching we rarely – I don't know what the percentages are. I know you kill with the stats. But we rarely had to blitz this entire, season.
17th, brother. 17th in the league in blitz rate. And, that's impressive when you're second in the league in sacks and 17th blitzing.
Right. And I would argue that even when they count that 17th, they're talking about a 5-man rush, not all out. We don't do any 0 or 6-man blitzes almost at all because we don't need to.
And that's what's making us tough to beat. We got guys that are good in coverage, but when you don't have time to throw the ball and you're forced to throw the ball into to 7-man secondary, so you got your linebackers back, you got everybody back. There's nowhere to put it, you know. And when you look at Matt Stafford, like, we force guys to move around in the pocket, and there's really nowhere you can go quickly with the football. So it's hard to beat this defense, and that's just schematically talking. But when you look at the temperament from these guys, you got a lot of leaders on this defense when it comes to tempo, energy, attitude. D-Law has always been just the craziest, you know, of guys when it comes to like sound bites and the way he acts and talks. He's a scary dude. Then you already know what Micah Parsons is doing. Then Wilson is knocking everything out other than his grandma. You know what I mean?
Let me bring you back to D-Law. I don't want you to get too far from that, what you said. Did you see the sounds of the sideline when he came over to the sideline, right? And he's like, "Hey, Micah, they're playing me like this. They're letting me get one-on-one, et cetera, and I'm paraphrasing here. They're letting me come inside. If you just loop around, I can da-da-da-da-da-da-da." And what happened later in that game? They ran that type of stunt. D-Law got the pressure, and Micah finished it up. These boys are on the same page, fam.
Yeah, I did catch that, and I saw the excitement in D-Law when he got that sack, and it wasn't because some guys celebrate because they want to look like they got the half sack. It wasn't because he thought he got the half sack. He celebrated because he knew he called that, and you're exactly right. He called that, from the sideline. So, like I said, D-Law's proven to be a leader, and I can't say enough for him, man. Like I said, especially when it comes to him versus the run as well. Like, a lot of people saying, like, well, he's not getting the amount of sacks you want him to get, but it doesn't matter. Everybody else, like, collectively, we are. And beyond that, I count tackles for losses as sacks too. Like, that's just the way I am. So D-Law has been killing it when it comes to that. So this entire defensive line is ridiculous, man. I feel like we get Bohanna back, we'll shore up the run game. I don't know if he's back this week, but we were missing him out there last week because we had to come out there with Tristan and Osa in the middle at times to give Nev a break, or Watson wasn't kind of up to speed yet. So we need Bohanna back in there. But other than that, I'm loving it.
Are you? And we're talking a lot about the D line because I just think it's been so good. But are you noticing this as well? I want to ask you because you've watched all these games defensively intently. I'm noticing that this interior defensive line is just playing at a different level, or playing with a different ferociousness than in years past, or maybe it's a Dan Quinn effect. I don't know, but I know we praise the safety position because, of course, those dudes are balling. You got the Diggs on the outside. The defensive ends are getting all the sacks for the most part. But I think we should give a lot of love to what's happening on this interior with Bo when he's in the game. I think he's been a problem. Osa is starting to come along. He's a problem. Neville was Neville. When Tristan is your third or fourth guy and he can come in there and play 19 snaps a game and give you 110% on those 19 snaps, that becomes a problem for the offensive guard or center. But is this interior to you looking like this just a violent, vicious group that's help to set up everything else for these dudes?
Absolutely, and it's still, it's a perfect storm because we mentioned Micah Parsons and we mentioned D-Law a second ago, not to kind of take it back to those guys, but when I did the film, I noticed that they're sliding one way or another. The guards are. So the guards are trying to squeeze into the B gap so much so to stop those inside moves from Micah and D-Law that when you're in the interior, you're not dealing with as much either. So you also have to factor in that. Like when it comes to pass coverage, pass protection anyway, they're able to eat and get a lot more A-gap pressure because there's just a center and half a man to deal with most of the time. So that is definitely playing into it. But when it comes to the way we've attacked the run, man, I mean, it's complementary football because we're not giving them any spill out or cutback lanes when it comes to the edge. Like our defensive ends come in, they contain and set the edge pretty well. Sometimes you catch them peeking inside against like a scat back like that, and they'll squeeze out. Because you notice the only running plays that we've given up are like the quick stuff to quicker backs on the edges when we don't contain. But our defensive scheme is contain and force everybody up the middle, and then you just hold firm, hold the line in the middle of the field. And they've been doing that better than than any of their predecessors. But you have to also factor in, schematically, Dan Quinn doesn't play an upfield scheme like Marinelli used to. And then also personnel-wise, Dan Quinn actually likes one-techs, whereas before, historically speaking, we would have guys like our one-tech. Our version of a one-tech was like a poor man's one-tech, and no offense to him. I liked Antoine Woods when he was here, but we would have guys like Antoine Woods as our one-tech. Right now, I don't think Woods even gets in the rotation on this team. Facts. The way these guys are playing, I can't see who he would sit on a bench for Antoine Woods at this point, and that's including Watkins. Facts. So it's a perfect storm. Like I can't point to one sole reason why the interior line is better. I just can say, collectively speaking, schematically, personnel-wise, it just works, man, and I'm loving it.
What I love about what Dan Quinn has these guys doing, when they make a mistake, right? When somebody does capture the edge, maybe it's for a series or two, maybe it's for a quarter or whatever, they don't seem to be making those mistakes over and over again. Dan will correct it, right? We saw that in the Giants game. We saw that in the Washington game. We kind of really even saw it in the Rams. Rams weren't getting off on the ground. They had a few good runs, but after that, it was shut down, and they adjusted very well. So, that is something I've noticed Dan Quinn has done his first year and a half in Dallas is, all right, you got me here, but we're going to get into this locker room, or we're going to get onto the sideline. Hey, I just need you to bump down a little bit, get into this gap. That's what I said about Anthony Barr. I think he's an architect. Hey, scoot over a little bit. They didn't look like they were out-schemed.
Speaking of that, let me ask you a question before you move on. My bad.
Are you good?
But when you mentioned Anthony Barr, right, and LV, would you say that we can improve in the middle of the field with linebacker play, right? Would you say that? Yes or no?
Yes, that is the one spot, and I hate to even call it a weakness, bro, but it's the one spot where there's a potential to upgrade. Yeah.
So check this out, right? That's how ridiculously good this defense can be, because I agree with that. I think that when Cox or Clark or whomever, I think Barr has been solid. He's learning the scheme, but he's solid. LVE's been solid as well, but we already know what we're getting with that. We know we can get better because there's plays that's been set up for LVE, and he just hasn't finished a few times. And I feel like, if you look back at, I think, Cincinnati game, he had a couple interceptions. I was like, if he just trusts what he sees, he had pick sixes. But he's been playing well. I'm not hating on LV, but that just shows you that this defense is still not at its peak, because with all the accolades that we throw around here, we know we can still improve in the interior especially if we have a striker or an aggressive downhill linebacker to play alongside. I think right now it would be good to get Cox in there or Clark at some point, because you got Anthony Barr here who can school those guys up to speed while he's here. See what I'm saying? So him alongside either of those two young guys in the rotation, I think will be that play right there that you just showed was the play I was talking about in film, where I said, LV hesitates a little bit too much. He kind of like floats to the play instead of makes the play. He also had a sack opportunity against Stafford, where I'm like, just blow the guy up. So a middle linebacker that's just on point and aggressive at this point would make this team even better. And it's already the best defense I've seen in the 2000 era. And maybe even in the 90s, too. I mean, we had good teams in the 90s. I won't hate on those guys. They won Super Bowls, so that's the only reason I give them the asterisk. But this is the best team I've witnessed when I was old enough to understand what defense is supposed to be doing.
Oh, 100%. This is the best defense. That's almost something very similar. This is the best defense I've seen in the last 20 years for the Cowboys in regards to the JG era and the McCarthy era. But to get back to the LVE, to me, he plays like I don't want to fuck up. And excuse my French, y'all out there, but he plays like I don't want to mess up, and I'm just going to do my job. And you remember when he said to Micah Parsons last year in the I think it was a preseason game, he was like, "Hey man, you ain't gonna make all the plays. Some of the plays got to come to you." LVE be like, "I'm gonna let all the plays come to me. I ain't gonna make no plays." And it ain't really costing Dallas, right? But it's like you said, there are so many opportunities I'm watching. I'm like, oh my God, if we had a beast right there, or not even a beast, just kind of a dude who wants to go get that ball, they would have took his head off, or they would have might have caused a fumble or got an interception. So, he's not a liability this year to date. But there's room for improvement, which again, like you said, that goes to show you how awesome this defense has been, man. You're doing it with really subpar athletic guys that are trying to get it done from a mental standpoint.
Right in the middle of the field, exactly. And when we have one of those guys, I think Clark and Cox will man the middle of this field unless we draft somebody that's like lights out better next year. They'll man the middle of this field for years to come if they can get some tick this season. Especially, if we make the playoffs. I won't say we automatically will, but if we make the playoffs this season and they're able to get some good experience, I think I know what Clark can do. I got to put his film out there.
That's
but I know
my guy.
We already know what Cox is, man. He's a versatile beast. So Cox with J-Rock and Clark out there as our three base linebackers, I think is crazy to me. Like, they're all almost interchangeable, except for, I think Clark is not the great cover guy, but he will come down.
Oh, he will come down, bro. He will come down. I think he can go side to sideline. He's a smart dude. He's a second round pick if he doesn't have that injury come out.
Oh, 100%, without a shadow of a doubt.
Easily. I won't hold you too long, bro. We could talk forever. We're supposed to be doing the Koye Wednesday, Thursdays as soon, but I know you got a lot going on.
Yeah. When we ready, I mean, later in the season, probably around November, end of November, we can start that up. I got shout out to Family First Home Health. That's the LLC. That's the home care, the home health care business. But we got licensed. We just got state licensed by Maryland on the 28th. So. Shout out to it. I'm happy, but we should be done with that whole process by mid-November. So man, once we are, I'm jumping on. Man.
You all right? Listen, you already know I'm here whenever you're ready, and I know you had a lot of stuff going on. That's why I wasn't tripping. Man, when he ready, we good. We here. But I know you're gonna break down this Philly game, but on your own channel and through the videos and whatnot in the film. But just a quick tease. For those who don't know, bro. For those who don't know, because a lot of people don't. Okoye is, and I actually told them earlier in the show, Okoye is in the Lions Den right now. All right. He is from Philly. He's in Philly. So he's feeling all of this every single day. But just every day. Just a quick little thought on this game.
Like, there's no rest because he's surrounded by family who Eagles fans too. So it's everywhere, man. You can't, there's no rest, there's no break, no mercy given, none asked for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but give me your quick little thoughts. I don't want you to give away everything from your film you're going to break down, but kind of just quick little thoughts on this upcoming game.
I feel like it's weird. When you look at Hurts, right, a lot of people are giving the Eagles a lot of fanfare, and I'm not here to kick, wins out of anybody's, palate, at all. But I've been reviewing not only the Jacksonville game preparing for this week, but the Lions. I like to see what teams did well against them, and then what it looked like they do well, right? And Jacksonville wins that game if it wasn't for two unforced errors by Trevor Lawrence. He had two fumbles, one off a fumble snap that turned over, and one where he was just backing it, and I think Reddick may have bumped into somebody, bumped into him, and he dropped the ball, whatever. But those two drives changed the game because the Eagles only won by 9 points in that game. But when I was looking at it, let's start with offense, like looking at Hurts. Mm-hmm. Hurts only has four touchdown passes, 5 touchdown passes?
Yeah, it's 4 touchdown passes this year, yep.
3 of them came in one game, though. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? So Hurts is not lighting up the boards with, passing all over the place. But when you listen, because I haven't been watching the full games of the Eagles until preparing this week. But when I was listening, preparing for the season, it's like, you would think that they're the greatest show on turf. Mm-hmm. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. Hurts is a faster, not disrespecting him, but he's a faster Daniel Jones. That's what he is. And if we play it similar, where we contain, force him up the A-gap. If he wants to run, he has to run up the middle. And I think you throw Micah Parsons into that spy position a little bit more in the middle of the field because I wouldn't want LVE chasing Hurts in the middle of the field, personally speaking. But I think this game will be a game where you see Micah Parsons in the middle of the field a little bit more, at least when we're up in their obvious passing situations. I think he'll be rushing from the middle of the field rather. And plus Kelsey, I believe, is banged up too. So that's another reason why you might see that. But I think this game plays right into the way we play. Hurts is not a guy that's going to light it up, in my opinion. He will run, though, and I think that's where our test is going to come from. We're going to need everything we can get out of Cooper Rush to get us up so that this is not a game they can run deep into the third quarter. We want them passing going into the third quarter and going into the second half so that we can pin our ears back and go. So we're going to need Cooper Rush to hit the scoreboards early and often. And with that said, I'm going to give y'all a nugget from this breakdown. Watch. What's his name? Gardner? I don't know his name. Number 23.
Chauncey Gardner.
I don't know. That kid right there, watch him. Like it's not his fault. They use him strange in this scheme because in order for them to stop the run, the Eagles come out in a 3-4 type of set and bringing Davis out there. And when they do that, they're playing 3-4. They're bringing 5 men down on the line automatically, and they're making that safety play a lot of man coverage and a lot of he plays off in a lot of man coverage, but I think he's out of his element when he's doing it. Because when you watch the Jacksonville game, they're using this cell concept. I know you know what that is, but the cell concept, and they're high-low in 23 all day. It was like successful all day long. And then they would isolate him, and he's in man coverage all day. He can't cover man. It doesn't look like it anyway. He's on skates.
And where do we excel? In man? If you're going man up, Cooper throw it up to Noah Brown or CD or somebody down there.
We're going to I think it's a lot of mismatches and opportunities for us on both sides of the ball, though, man, from watching the film. And I think the Cowboys, I'm not as afraid of the Eagles as people think we should be, personally.
No, not at all, man.
I ain't afraid of nobody, man, in this league, to be honest.
This defense, bro. This defense. Hey, man, this is Okoye Media. For those who do not know, I hate to use the term members, but one of the squad, man, one of the family members, we'll say that, of the round table. Let them know where they can find you at, bro.
Oh, man, AKOYE Media on YouTube, Twitter, IG, TikTok. I think it's Okoye Clips, but you can check me out anywhere, man. But mainly on YouTube if you want those breakdowns. They're here. I've been pumping them out every week. So tune in, man, and let's finish out this hate green week, man, because I need to see some sad faces in Philadelphia. You know what I mean? I'm behind me line. So Sunday I need to see some people, ready to sock me or something. You know what I mean? I need that. I need that energy. So shout out to you, man. Appreciate you having me on too, man.
Come on, bro. Appreciate you too, big homie. And we'll talk soon.
Yep. Talk to you soon.
All right, Brody.
Talk to you soon.
That is Okoye Media. Please drop the fire emojis in the chat. Told y'all I had a good surprise for y'all, man. And you could hear it. If you're not familiar with him, you can just hear the football smarts. I call him a professor, the doctor. He's a film guru in all of this. I learned a lot listening to Okoye. And it's funny because he hit me up. What up, young OG? We always have fun with this whole thing. I actually call Vach my young old head. He called me young OG. I call him Onk or Professor or something like that. So it's all love in this community, man, and with this group. But check him out, Okoye Media on YouTube. Go if you want to go watch the film session. You can just do it after the show. Wait till the show though. Do it after the show, and you'll learn something. I promise you that. I'm glad I got his take on a little bit on this Eagles offense because he's saying some of the things that we'll talk about here soon. Now, defensively, I'm watching the Eagles defense today. I'm actually going to look at a couple different games. I do want to go back to that Detroit game. I know I hate doing week one stuff, but that's where it was a lot of points scored. So I want to see what happened. So we'll look at some of those games as well. But that's a hell of a transition into what we're about to talk about. But before we do that, got to give a shout out to our sponsors. Boston Scientific. You see something different there? ED can affect your self-esteem and impact your most important relationships. So take a free online assessment that you can share with your doctor. Click the ad in the description. There's a permanent, satisfying solution to treat ED. Visit edcure.org to get the facts and find a urologist who can offer treatment options when others do not work. Again, that's edcure.org, sponsored by Boston Scientific.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions.
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
Yo,
We'll do it live.
it's hilarious how mad y'all are. Yeah. I hit up my guy. I said, no. So we need a new pick. We need a new pick. Shout out to y'all. 600 plus in the building. Do me a favor, hit the like button if you're enjoying this content. I noticed Sky's bingo partner. I noticed we got some Eagle fans in here, or I don't know, man, some Philly fans. They've been all right so far. A little trolling here never hurt nobody. Never hurt nobody. I mean, unless y'all had to knock somebody out, then y'all know how I feel. Bomb Squad, y'all take care of that. I don't, I just been peeping in there, and I've been seeing somebody from Phillies in here talking to Eagles, how they gonna do this and do that. All right, we'll see. We shall see. I know y'all still want a horn. Just hold tight. Let me get through this last block of the show where we break down this Eagles offense, and I'll get to y'all. I promise you. Here we go. So, as we normally do when it comes to breaking down the teams, to take a look at some of their key players. And for Philly, for the Philly offense, I think it's fairly obvious, right? Who their key guys are and what they do offensively. There are some surprises offensively that I noticed that I was wrong about. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. But this Eagles offense, man, is second in the NFL so far in yards per game, fifth in points at 27 points per game. But they are a strange scoring team, man. Through 5 weeks, I think there's enough evidence that it's something is weird with it. Nonetheless, points are points, right? But in the first half of games, they're the number one scoring team in the league. And 21 points per game. I tell you this right now, we definitely don't want to let them get up like that. Because offensively, we haven't clicked just quite yet. But in the second half, they're 29th in the league in points per game. I'm not a Philly fan. I don't study them intently. I don't know what their coaches are saying or whatever. But that seems to be a drastic difference. And I think that discrepancy, I don't think it's something to brush over. Are they wearing out? Are teams figuring them out, after the first half? I don't know. And if you want to be even more specific, they score 18 points per game in the second quarter. So what does that tell you, right? Most of their scoring is coming there. Now, they did come out last week and score in the first on the first drive of the game. They did do that. And he did it with a hell of a lot of screens, too. I have to ask one of these Philly insiders, why y'all throw so many dang on screens? But let's not get it twisted. They went out and they got A.J. Brown. They drafted Devontae Smith from Alabama last year, who's coming along as well. But this is still, this team is still run through the ground. And that starts with Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith. Who said Jalen Smith earlier that made me say Jalen Smith? Jalen Hurts. They're first in rushing attempts per game in the NFL. 42% of their first downs come on the ground. So they're trying to set everything up off of the run, which a lot of teams that are running teams do. Now, I think with this rushing attack, it's led by scheme first, quarterback second. Meaning they're going to try to out-scheme you. They're going to try to get the line to the second level, some pulls, things like that. But they're also going to use Jalen Hurts to make you play 11 on 11. And that's tough in the run game because usually in the run game, you try to win with numbers. Most teams, you're not accounting for the quarterback in the run game. Jalen Hurts, you have to. But Miles Sanders leads this rushing attack from a traditional standpoint with 414 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 4.8 yards per carry. He's having the best start to his career for the most part. Between Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders, they carry the ball 31 times a game. 31 times a game. Now, from a passing standpoint, because of their run style, they're going to do a whole lot of play action. They're the 6th highest play action team in the league. And for whatever reason, you might hear me say this a lot, they run a lot of screens. Last week, they ran a lot of screens. Again, that's something I haven't really, read up about and why they decided to do it, whatever, but they did it. On that first drive, they ran like 4 of them. So I noticed, and we all know how the Cardinals defense plays. We witnessed it last year. Their defense is going to try to disguise things. They want to blitz you a lot too. They weren't as blitz happy against the Eagles, but when they did, they had some decent success against it. Some good success, really. But we don't blitz a ton. And honestly, I'm okay with that. Because one thing I did notice watching Jalen Hurts is that if you can get him off of his first read, he's going to run around and try to make a play. But it's a matter of getting him off that first read. So when you do blitz, when you do dial up the blitz, and we don't blitz him a whole lot, just make sure that first read is covered and that you get home. And as you can see right there, they did get home a couple times against them. Now, contrary to the Cardinals game, they did a whole lot of this in the rest of the season. They are an aggressive attack defense. And we'll talk about that a little bit later and why I actually welcome that thing. But in the past game, I'm okay with clog and cover, man. I'm okay with rush with your ferocious 4 and make Jalen Hurts have to throw into tight windows. He's been better at it. Like, again, I hate Philly and things like that, but I'm not going to sit and act like Hurts hasn't improved a little bit here. Yes, but I'd still much rather him, all right, throw it into the tight window. All right, you aggressive? Go ahead. Throw it at Trayvon Diggs, please. The A.J. Brown matchup is a good matchup, in my opinion. The O-line is good O-line. Jason Kelce. I don't know if he's going to play, but I doubt he's going to miss a game. He don't like missing games. Lane Johnson still playing good ball. Kelce still playing good ball. They like to do a lot of what Kelce loves to do, and that's get on the move. He's a Hall of Famer at that type of thing. Don't know if Jordan Mailata is going to play. If not, the Driscoll kid is the mouse in the house candidate. Right? He is. He gave up 6 pressures last week. Isaac Salamu. I forget how to pronounce his last name. But he's a pretty steady guard for them. He's been that way for his whole entire career. Got nothing bad to say about the guy. As for their pass catchers, we talked about these guys. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Brown and Smith both have 28 receptions. They're 1A, 1B. One got 400 yards. The other got 350. They both got a touchdown. Brown is their more physical guy. The bully ball wide receiver. Jalen likes to throw it up to him. Like to get some quick hitters to him. But in my opinion, this is the type of matchup that Trayvon Diggs excels at. So it's going to depend on how they line him up. But I love the Trayvon Diggs on A.J. Brown. I just do. Devontae Smith, more of the smooth guy, route running guy. Explodes out of his breaks. Good hands. It's a good player. They got 2 really good wide receivers. There's no doubt about it. But I'm going to be real with you. Those dudes don't worry me the most. It's Dallas Goddard. We've been fairly decent against tight ends this year. Years past, we have not. But Dallas Goddard, man, I think Dallas Goddard is one of the best tight ends in the league. He's sneaky good in all aspects of the game. And I think he does a fantastic job of selling his blocks and then releasing into the flat, and he's getting chunk gains. He also can get upfield. He can make contested catches. I think a complete tight end. And in years past, tight ends gave us trouble. And I feel like we go into every game like, hey, man, we got to make sure we don't get these tight ends matched up against an LVE or an Anthony Barr. But J-Rock is back. So I wonder if J-Ron Curse is going to be that guy that plays a tight end eraser. And if that's the case, I feel much better. But Dallas Goddard, I think, is the X factor for those dudes. So my overall thoughts, though, after watching them, I have respect for them for sure. But I came away surprised a little bit, man. I thought we were going to see a lot more window dressing pre-snap. A lot of pre-snap motion, kind of like what the Rams did, the Niners, Ravens. No, it wasn't. pretty much ordinary motion, man. They don't like to move their guys around a whole lot, which, again, it surprised me because I thought with this type of RPO offense, we would see that, but it's really not that kind of offense. Most of their creativity doesn't come pre-snap. It comes post-snap. You see it with the screens. You see it with the guards pulling, the tackles pulling. You see it with the kind of triple option stuff with Jalen Hurts. They ran a play last year. I mean, I haven't seen them run it this year, but again, I haven't watched all their plays. They might have. Where they did kind of a triple option fake run, and Jalen Hurts threw a pass out of it. My man was wide open. I think it was a running back or tight end. Somebody was wide open. So they'll play some eye candy post-snap. So you got to be disciplined there. But aside from last game where they ran so many screens, I lost count how many screens they ran. Their MO is really to attack downfield. They want to be aggressive. And honestly, I welcome that. I welcome the Eagles wanting to be aggressive. I welcome that. Because the Cowboys are not going to blitz you a ton. And they got a ferocious pass rush. And they got a Micah Parsons and a D-Law and an Osa and these guys that can get to the quarterback. So now make Jalen Hurts have to read through his reads, hold the ball just a little bit longer, and you're talking about getting more sacks. Because one thing that Jalen Hurts has done over the last, actually every game, every single last game, his time to throw has decreased. It was 3 point whatever seconds, 3.333 for the first 3 games, and it was under 3, and it was 2 something, and it went under 2 something. So it's decreased. I want to get that back up. Because if he's holding the ball a little bit longer, that's more chances for us to get home. Now, he's not going to be Tom Brady. This isn't going to be a 2.1, getting the ball out fast like that. We don't really give that kind of room to do so. But if they do find something in the film, they'll run those screens. And we saw Tom Brady actually have success with that with Goddard. I'm sorry, not Goddard, Godwin. So got to watch out for these tight end screens. Got to watch out for these quick hits, the quick game. You got to wrap up because they are going to run some quick game. I just truly do believe that. I think a lot of teams come into the games, right, and they're like, yeah, pass rushes, ferocious. We get it. But let me see something right quick. You saw it in Cincy. Cincy came out not going quick game. And then that pass rush was on Burrow's ass, and Burrow said, timeout. Coach, cut it out. Cut it out with this this empty set. We're not finna do this today. And he just, ball's coming out. You saw with the Rams. They learned their lesson. What was it, 3rd and 1? These dudes going shotgun? What are you doing? They going shotgun. I want to hold that rock, and we got back there. And they popped the big play. But what happened after? Got sacked 5 times, fumbled, those interceptions. Play that game if you want. Play the hold the rock game if you want. So I don't think they're going to hold the rock for a lot of this game. I think that time to throw might tick down a little bit more here. So you got to wrap up. Got to contain these edges because they're going to do a whole lot of this RPO, pull it out, run around, which I welcome. Just wrap up. Because you don't want Jalen Hurts to pop off for 30 yards. Jalen Hurts gets 6 yards, but whatever. Again, if you're going to run the ball, you got to run the ball and score. Teams haven't been able to run the ball and score. The only team to run the ball and score was the Giants. So, obviously stop the RPO game. Obviously stop the run game and make Jalen Hurts throw the rock, right? We want to do that. Miles Sanders is a good running back, no doubt about it. It got to be blocked up for Miles. He's quick and whatnot. He got some speed to him. But to be honest, the real RB1 is their quarterback. Just being completely honest with you, man. 6 rushing touchdowns on the year. A couple of them was a quarterback sneaks. But if you can corral him, play that kind of muddle rush. I don't want him scrambling. He can scramble around if you want, but I want him having to step up. And there was a play in the Cardinals game where he stepped up and stepped back, and he's running around. Now he's turning his back to his players. That's what we want to do to Jalen Hurts. And we might, because we run a lot of games. So if he try one of those, hey, I'm gonna just step up and run, he might run right into Osa, run right into D-Law, run right into Micah. But Okoye said something, and I'm going to get to the lines here. Okoye said something. He said, we want to make them throw. If we go back to last year, we caught Philly before they knew what to do. Nick Sirianni didn't know. He ain't know himself. He didn't know his team. He didn't know what the hell to do. These boys ran the ball like 5 times or something crazy. And this is what we weren't even finished product. We were still a vulnerable team on the ground. I don't think we as vulnerable as people think now. But back then we were. And for whatever reason, he abandons the run. He thinks Jalen Hurts is a guy that he's not. And he throws the ball a lot. And Jalen Hurts got cooked. Now, something else Koye also said that we'll talk about tomorrow offensively is getting up. Maybe your defense helps you get up. The defense got you 9 points, should have been 10, on Sunday. But that's going to be important because the Cowboys haven't gotten off the fast start since the Cincinnati game. So if they can get on the board and get up, you might, Nick's not calling the plays, but you might make the Eagles come out of that run. We talked about this the other day. There's 2 ways to make teams one-dimensional. You just shut them down defensively by stopping the run, or you get up on them and make them say, hey, man, today ain't our day. We got to play catch-up, so we got to throw the rock because we got to score. Last year, the Cowboys made the Eagles do that. We got up, what was it, halftime? 20-something to 3 or something crazy like that. We were up double digits. And they panicked. So I don't know if the Cowboys offense is going to do that. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. But hell, man, 6-0, 9-0, 10, whatever. Get points. Get points because I think the defense is going to get stops. So that's our look at the Eagles offense against Cowboys defense, man. Let's go ahead and hit these phone lines right quick. My Reading brother, what's good?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, good sir.
How you doing? Well, God bless you and the show and your family like always.
Thank you, bro.
Okay. I just want to say that defense is going to they're going to put it to the Eagles because they got this attitude like us against the world, and they're going to prove that they're the number 1 defense. And like you were saying, if we contain Jalen Hurts, that's the main thing because as long as he can gash us, then he's going to have to resort to the passing game. Because if he can gash us, then the other running backs are going to be able to use that against us. But if we stop him and we stop the running backs, we'll be good. I really believe so. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got for today. Mr. Will Steele, like always, God bless you and the family and the show.
You as well.
Have a good one.
Thank you, brother. Man, this calls me so precise. Appreciate it, man. I felt so much better about stopping their run game from a running back standpoint when I went and watched them. I was under this assumption, and again, this is where I was wrong. I was under this assumption they did a lot of that eye candy stuff. They did a lot of that San Fran stuff that gave Cowboys trouble. Some of the Rams stuff. The Rams, they just won't run the ball, but they still do some of that eye candy stuff. Some of that Washington stuff. They don't do that. And I was like, I could have sworn they were doing a lot of that. I don't know if there's an Eagle fan in here. Maybe I'll ask Alex later on the VOT show. But am I tripping? Because I don't see them. And if y'all don't do that, that's really what gives the Cowboys the most trouble from a run stopping standpoint, right? Get my linebackers flowing one way or get their eyes going another way or have them hesitate for 1 second because we talk about LVE. He's already a hesitant linebacker in general. So now he got a hezzy twice. Yeah, that's where you scamper off for 30 when it should only be 8. So they don't do a lot of that. They do some post-action stuff with the guards and the tackles, but they don't do a lot of creative stuff pre-snap. Really not a lot post-snap unless it's coming from an RPO situation. So if they come out in this thing and it's traditional, we just going to run the ball from shotgun, I'm pretty sure Dan Quinn could cook up something where you got Jalen Hurts on the RPO. A lot of probably big nickel. I mean, if I'm being honest with you, I would like to see more big nickel in this game. Because I think it was Adrian said, I can already see Jalen running by LVE. I mean, that's probably going to happen here or there. But I'd rather. I mean, there were times in that game against the Rams where LVE wasn't on the field, you know, and you had the big nickel. I kind of want to see a little bit of that. What's up with your Los?
Good morning, Sky. Good morning.
Good morning.
I got my coffee right here. And let me say this. Lions, Vikings, Commanders, Jaguars, and Cardinals. I don't know where these teams rank defensively, but I will definitely 100% say we're about to put this so-called beasts of the NFC to the test, tame it, and put it to bed, especially this way this defense is constructed, Sky. From the secondary room, from that D-line room, to help each other. And Micah being that leader, just knocking out pawns wherever you line him up, the only way you can stop him is by holding him all the time. So that goes a long way. And this potential of this defense hasn't even peaked yet, Sky. The more of these guys get healthy, Curse, Clark, and to close off, Jabril Cox on the field, at this point, I don't know if it's a health issue,
it's not
IQ issue, or a scary part, or a front office issue, right? Because there's no reason why he should be more involved in the lineup rotation for being a difference maker later in this season or prepared when needed in this game.
If I had to guess, because, I think it's like I've been saying for the last few weeks. I think Dan Quinn and George Edwards just trust Anthony Barr and Leighton Vander Esch to get the guys in the right spots and to be in the right spots more than a young buck. That's all I can think of right now. But much like Kevontae Turpin, I'm pretty much done, speaking about Jabril Cox being an X factor this year until maybe an injury happens, because it's clear they're not going to use him on the defense this year. So until we see it, it's kind of, I'm just going to be talking in circles about it. I want to see him out there. I would love to see him out there. I think his athleticism complements this team, but this is more of a 2023 look ahead for Jabril Cox to me, man.
Yeah, and I know LVE out in space is scary, and I just hope we try our best to strengthen his side or hide him the best we can. I just don't know why we just can't put Jabril out there, because I've seen him with the limited opportunities be better out there in space. And more importantly, aggressive, because LVE is not trying to make every play. Remember that, right? So I think once Jabril and Clark, once they start showing out, it's going to be really hard to put LVE back out there and maybe convince the front office that he has to be in the lineup. And that's all I have to say, Sky.
All right, man. Appreciate you, Los. Here's why I don't think it's injury related. If it was injury related, you don't even dress the guy. You continue to sit him out. Hell, put him on IR. You're wasting a roster spot. But here's the main reason why it's not injury related. Jabril Cox is playing 21 snaps on special teams. I don't know how many people have played special teams. I don't know how many people have covered kicks or punts or run down the field. Brother, if you're hurt, that ain't the spot you want to be out there playing hurt, because you are running full speed down the field, sometimes running into used to be called a wedge. I don't know what it is now. Sometimes getting blindsided. You got to stop on a dot, right? Because you're going full speed. That ain't the spot you want to be at. Hurt. So I don't think it has anything to do with injury. 21 snaps a game on special teams doesn't scream to me he's hurt. And when you watch, go watch. You don't even got to get to all 20. Just go watch the broadcast view and watch how much Anthony Barr is directed, and sometimes Leighton is as well. To me, it feels like they're asking more of these linebackers from a mental standpoint than a pure physical one, right? And physically, I think Jabril Cox can do a lot of great things. Mentally, and again, I trust Dan Quinn. I don't think that Quinn and George Edwards are ready to trust him to do some of those mental things right now. And because it's not crushing you, they don't feel the need to do it. So I don't think he's hurt, man. I don't know who this 346. I feel like I should. Who this? What up?
Man, hey, this Jay Buggs out of Houston, Texas, man. How you doing, man? How you feeling?
H-Town in the building. What's good, man? I'm good, man.
For sure, man. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm sorry. I know you got to move quickly. But, man, look, I watch your show every day, bro. You and Vox are funny as hell, bro. Like, I'm sorry for cussing like that, bro. My bad. But y'all are funny, bro. I love y'all, bro. Like, y'all speak facts. Y'all know what y'all talking about, bro. My dad loves y'all, bro. But I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna tell my dad I talked to Will Steele today, family. For real, that's love. But
that's dope.
But I'm a fan though, bro. I'm a fan, bro.
Thank you, man.
I'm gonna let you know, like y'all fans are growing, bro, all over, bro. I want y'all to know, like y'all are loved down here by the Dallas Cowboys, Houston, Texas, bro. Like
that's heavy.
Y'all love down here, bro. Like I want y'all to know that, bro. But other than that, though, look, bro, what you think about TP getting some more carries, bro? Like I understand Zeke is our thunder, our package, our guy. But what if CP would have got 19 carries and Zeke got 10 carries? Or what if they switched up? Because I guarantee you, bro, to me, I told my dad this every time I say, bro, I guarantee you, bro, if we get a ball more to CP than Zeke, I'm pretty sure we'll see probably a 150-yard game, a 120-yard game. Where do you see that? Where do you see that playing out? Because I see it playing out now. I see that TP is actually going to get more of the carries going on during the season, bro. Like, where do you see that going on? Where do you see TP carries going on from here until the end of the season?
I'm actually shocked when I went back and looked. As you brought him up, I said, let me go see what his carries is looking like. This is the rush attempts over the first 5 weeks. 6, 9, 13, 8, 8. Now, the Cowboys are winning. TP has broke off for massive gains in pretty much 3 of the 5 games, but they haven't given him the ball more than 9 times 4 out of the 5 weeks. I think that is strange, bro. I'm not really trying to say that Tony Pollard needs to get 20 carries a game or anything like that, but I am with you on this.
I'm not saying that either.
Yeah, I'm curious though.
I'm not saying that either.
What happens what happens if he gets 17 carries? Because he had 13 carries against the Giants and he had 105 yards. He had 8 carries against LA and had 86. He had 9 carries in Cincy and had 43. And honestly, to keep it a beam with you, that pitch that they called a pass really was a run. So he did have, let's just call it 10 carries for about 90 yards. I am curious, maybe one of these times it'd be nice to see him get tote the rock 17 times and see what happens here. But I do like the split of featuring both of them, though. Thunder and Lightning, we need that.
Right.
But
I don't stop there. I do not want us to stop the motion of playing both.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's some stuff TP can do but Zeke excels at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they complement each other well, bro. They complement each other well.
Yeah, they do it well. I just feel like TP just gives us that juice, bro. And Zeke is gonna be. I feel like he's gonna be an all-time Cowboy. They talking about he's not gonna be there next year. Like, look, Zeke gonna be an all-time Cowboy. I call Zeke to get drafted out of Ohio State to the Cowboys. So I feel like he's gonna be that all-time Cowboy. They gonna restructure his deal. Hopefully, pray to God the NFL don't come down. Hey, he gotta go. But hopefully they restructure his deal. And to be honest with you, man, we got a good team, bro. Hopefully we can get to the playoffs. I've never seen us with this type of defense, bro. Micah Parsons is unbelievable. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like I got a little swag. I'm on the radio with
right,
bro.
Oh, you talking about?
I'm gonna let you go though, bro. I know these people. I was waiting a long time. I'm gonna let you go though, bro. But y'all be blessed, man. I'm gonna call in to the Vox show later on this evening. Let the Vox show. Southport Jay Bull calling, baby. Y'all gonna hear from him. I hope you listening now.
Jay Bull from H-Town.
All right, how about some Cowboys, baby?
How about them? Appreciate you, Jay Bull. Love that energy, man. Y'all know I love that energy. Kind of remind me of JR. Love that energy. But he really got me thinking about the TP thing. And I think the low-hanging fruit is going to be the blocking. But I think what we're talking about is the rushing. Now, what we talking about? The rushing. And I'm not saying, Tony Pollard goes out there, you just automatically rush. No, I also get him involved in the passing game. That's a whole nother discussion because he's not been involved in the passing game. I mean, he has 1 reception over the last 3 weeks. That is crazy. do you guys understand how do you understand how lopsided this has been over the last 3 weeks? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. He has 1 reception in 3 weeks. That's goofy. But I get it, man. Tony Pollard has lapses in the pass block. And I know a lot of people are going to get on him for the sack that happened against Cooper Rush. But if you go and listen to, I don't know if it was Mike, I don't know if it was Kellen. Somebody said, he said that was the call. The call was to go up and help on the left guard because Aaron Donald was doing Aaron Donald things. And they showed us a look that we had never seen. So that wasn't on tape. So it was a great call by the defense. Sometimes they get paid to make money too. You know what I'm saying? Or they get paid to make plays too. But the week one was really bad. And then there's some other times where he's not great. But there's times where he also picks up a block. You know what I mean? There's times where Zeke gets beat as well. Now, Zeke is better at it than TP is. But I would love to see him get more than 8 carries in a game. I think last game was a perfect opportunity to be like, all right, well, this ain't working out throwing the ball. People dropping rocks. We ain't seeing this. We ain't seeing that. We ain't throwing the ball. We don't got to. Would love to see him get 15 carries, 17 carries. And, you know, a lot of people say this about Zeke. And this is actually true about running backs, period. Honestly, it might be true about all skill players. There's a feel to the game that you got to get, right? Like, this is what makes him so special. Tony Pollard doesn't necessarily need a feel. You give him an inch, he'll take a mile. But can you imagine, though, if he's actually getting in a rhythm? There was a couple plays we talked about with Zeke where it was a typical Zeke. I'm just gonna get what I can get, and it got you 4 yards, got you 5 yards. But old Zeke, see that edge, stick that foot in the ground, and he attacks that edge. Now we're talking about, instead of a 4 or 5 yard game, be a 15-yard game, maybe a 60-yard touchdown if you make somebody miss. I feel like if Tony Pollard got a little bit of that too, like we always say, give a feel to Zeke, sure. What about that feel with TP? Because if TP know, all right, we've been running this concept, we ran it 3 times. This defensive end keeps biting down on it, and Noah comes out, hey, every time we run it, the corner just keeps cheating up closer and closer. If this DE bite down and that corner come in, stick your foot in the ground and come outside. And if TP sticks his foot in the ground, it's pretty much see ya. So yeah, I'm definitely interested to see a little bit more TP without going overboard. He don't need 25 carries. I ain't saying that. One game he has over 10 carries. Interesting. L said on the play he missed a block. Again, he didn't miss it. I'm gonna just tell you what happened. He should have sent him out in the flat and gave him a swing pass. Well, again, the call was for him to go up and help out in left guard. You'll see that often too with Zeke. And sometimes, and here's where Zeke has been playing for 7 years and is more experienced in it. Sometimes you'll see Zeke, his head's on a bit of a swivel, and he'll cheat up and he'll try to get back in time. And a lot of times it may not happen because it's a corner blitz, so it's fast. And sometimes it does happen, and he gets just enough in the way. But that was a call. You know, they get paid to make plays over there too, and that was one of them. The other one was when in week 1 where McGovern got destroyed. Or not McGovern, Fournier got destroyed, and Shaq Barrett was on his ass right away. Dang, gotta help out there. We got 2 more. I'm gonna lock these up. A little bit of overtime, nothing crazy. I like it. 469, what it do?
Yo, what's good, man?
What's good?
Jesse from Dallas, man. Hey, first of all, this has really been on my mind this whole week. So with the Rams, you know, before the game started, you know, all the analysts, you know, they say this is going to be a difficult game for the Cowboys. I don't think the Cowboys are going to be able to match up well. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, right? So we win. Mm-hmm. I don't think our offense did terrific, but defensively crazy game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But after the game, you hear all that from the same analyst too. Well, you know, this is a Rams team whose offensive line is depleted. Matthew Stafford isn't looking like what he used to look like. So this is not, you know, give us our flowers, please.
Yeah.
Please keep the same energy, because I guarantee you if we lost to that Rams team, I told you, the Dallas Cowboys were not ready for this. The Dallas Cowboys, they were not matched up well. You know, so it's kind of annoying when I hear that. So when I bring that up to say this Eagles team, honestly, in my opinion, I feel like is a little bit overrated. Just going back and looking at the games. Don't get me wrong, they're a good team. I'm not throwing salt on them. Man, they're a good team. But if you go back and look at all the games and who they played, because they haven't played any team that's a defensive monster, in my opinion, right? But you look at this team, and honestly, about 4 of those games that they played, they only had one good quarter. One good quarter of football, and it's really come from the defense, right? So they played the Commanders. That if I'm wrong, correct me, but the first 2 quarters, they couldn't get anything moving. They couldn't even touch the end zone until Carson Wentz did what he loves to do, cough up the ball, interception, fumble, they capitalized, right? And, I mean, a win is a win. I say that to say this and asking the question. Out of everybody that they have seen, do you think that we are the biggest test that the Eagles have faced? And if so, for us, on the other hand, if we win this game, I think that it says a lot more about our team than anything. And so, one, my question is, do you think that this is the biggest game that the Eagles have faced? And 2, do you think that, or let me rephrase it, would you take Dak at 85%? Or Cooper at 100.
We gotta stop this. We gotta stop this. Stop this. Stop this. Yeah, stop the 85% stuff, right? Like, bruh.
I got you. Hey, look. I know.
You probably got this from that podcast on the .com. My guess. Did you get it from that?
Right.
Why would you? Let me ask you this. Why would you take a quarterback whose thumb is at 85%?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't at all.
Throw the ball.
Listen. I'm not taking. I don't care if Dak's at 99%. There's every reason in the book that says you do not play him, and I personally think you don't play him until he's 100%. He has at least a week or 2 of practice on top of that. Because I think, and the reason I'm asking you, because I wanted to hear your opinion, because I feel the same way. It's crazy. It is crazy. The implications for one game is not bigger than the implications for a whole season. So you bring somebody out for one game, you get the feeling, we have to beat the Eagles. We have to beat the Eagles. Then he goes back out, or he stinks it up. He's not playing well, or he re-injures his thumb, then our whole season's out.
Yeah.
Because, look, I know Cooper Rush is doing good, but let's be honest. Our defense has really been winning these games. He's been doing what's asked of him, but the defense is unbelievable. And we cannot assume that our defense is going to play 17 games and win a 17 games, right? So, I mean,
in closing,
be real.
Yep, in closing.
Let's just be real. So in closing, I just want to know, do you think the Eagles, this is the biggest test that they have faced? And yeah, man, I appreciate it, man.
All right, appreciate you calling in, man.
All right.
I'm glad he asked me the other question, because I'm honestly, I forgot the question. Is this the best defense, or is it the best team? Guys, see, this is why I blame .com. For I listened. The hell would you take an 80 whatever % of a thumb on the throwing hand of a quarter? This ain't you. I ain't coming at you, caller. This is .com. This is their fault. No. I don't give a damn if it's Aaron Rodgers. If his thumb is at 85%, that means he doesn't have 100% grip of the ball. He's susceptible to re-injuring it again. He ain't healthy. He ain't full. No. Let's not do that, right? Let's not do that. I'm not saying you. I'm saying .com because they putting this in people's heads. Silly. And to get to the real part of it, the part that I've been saying over a few days, which I'm with him on, is he's going to need a week and some change to get back into practice. Honestly, I mean, we agree that I don't think this week is the week to come back. But this is the week where, okay, let's get him ramped up. Let's have him throwing. Let's see how it feels, see how it responds after 3 days of throwing, see how it responds after he rests now. And then we come back next week. Everything checks out. Here we go. Let's get ready for Detroit. But I'll leave it at that. Is this the biggest test for the Eagles? Defensively, yes. Without a shadow of a doubt. And you probably saw me like kind of just like, because everybody talks about, and I might have got caught up in this at one point or another, especially as a fan. And I'm not telling y'all how to fan. Not telling y'all how to fan. But I think when I start kind of doing this a little bit more over the years, a lot of people bring up schedule. A lot of people bring, oh, you ain't played this, you ain't played that. Did you win? Did you get out of there healthy? I haven't looked at other teams and said, oh, they ain't beating them. I haven't done it, honestly. Maybe a lot of it is because of what the Cowboys are doing. I'm just focused on the Cowboys. But I've come to the conclusion, man, that it's so hard to win in this league. And the gap between a good team and a mediocre team ain't that big. A mediocre team and a bad team ain't that big. Hence why I live in this week-to-week land. Sure, they've played Detroit, who ain't as have a good record. They played Jacksonville, who has a 2-3 record or something like that. Washington ain't nothing. Minnesota's 4-1. Whooped on them. But it's such a week-to-week league, man. Like, and this is a division rival game, so you can almost throw those records out. I mean, look at the Washington game. The score is 15-10 going into the fourth quarter. Washington's terrible. So, sure, they ain't played nobody. I don't care that they haven't played nobody. How do we match up against? Right? So, defensively, it's definitely the biggest test. Let's just be honest. Offensively, it's not even close to the biggest test from that aspect of things. But defensively, it 100% is. Uh, 940. Send us out. What's goody?
What's up with you, Sky?
What up? Who this?
This is Harry.
What's up, Harry? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I got to go back to the TP Zeke deal.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair to that argument, you know, TP shines after Zeke has really worked the line. I mean, there's a method to the madness.
Mm-hmm.
When you got Ezekiel in between the tackles, pounding on those guys, it breaks your will. I mean, you see how these guys play.
Sure. Yeah.
And so if you look at the biggest runs that TP gets, it's always after these guys are worn down. To put him in just saying, well, we got to get him more runs just for the sake of getting him more runs. I mean, I get it. Let's balance it out some. But he's certainly better when he's running off of Zeke. And also, and Zeke, yeah, I know it takes him some to get on, but what he's doing, man, he's wearing out that defensive front. Now, but to the real argument, the conversation that we're having today is our defense versus their offense. That's the question. I always like to come back to the question. And the real issue is our defensive front, there's nothing magical about how they play offense. They don't have all the bells and whistles and twists and turns with their offense. And so as far as lane discipline and stuff like that, they have not faced a defense where these guys are going to be able to stand, especially if we get Bo Hammond back.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
you know what's
stop.
You know what's crazy, caller, Harry, about the Bohannon thing? And I might reach out and ask somebody. I wonder if they looked at this Rams game and said, hold on, they don't run the ball? They're 31st in the league in running the ball? And Bo's been kind of nicked up? Because Bo doesn't have anything that really, I don't think, could hold him out of games. I think they looked at it as, I think we can get by without Bo this week. I think we can give him a nice, good week of rest because next week we go from the 31st ranked team in rush attempts to the first ranked team in rush attempts. So give Big Bo a bit of a break, and now you throw him in here a little bit more fresh. I wonder if that might have been the case.
That's not a bad reasoning on the coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you put Bo in the middle of that, man, talk about lights out, man. He's gonna suck up some space, and man, I like how we play with him in the middle. Nothing against any of these Tristan or those guys. I like them as second long, third downs. That's fine. But as far as when you're in running downs, Big Bo is the man.
Yeah, Big Bo has been
question.
before he missed this game. I thought he was top 2 defensive tackles on the team. He was playing that way. Seriously.
Absolutely. So that's the real deal. I just don't, and that's what we have done. We've neutralized everybody's running game. We've made them one-dimensional. You look at how they're running. The quarterback is running around trying to set his feet. Man, that's because you take away that which sets up their game, which is the play action. You take that away, man, and the way you do that is by being stout in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the money.
I like our chances. I hope I'm with you on Dak not playing, but to be fair, we had 0 sustained drives on our offensive side of the ball against the Rams. Let's be clear. Nothing against Russ, but he's not world beating now. We got to be clear about this.
Yeah, him
defense.
Yeah, him and also others. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't have penalties, you can't have drops, and for the last 4 weeks, it's been a combination of a lot of things offensively that have not allowed us to sustain a drive. Now I'll tell you this: when we have, that's when we get points. When there's been a drive where you've converted 2 or 3 third downs, that's where the points come, and then it kind of goes back to where we're not converting.
Yeah, but to his credit, he's done what's asked of him to some degree. Just maintain and don't mess up.
Don't mess up, yeah.
And so, I'm good with that, but all this foolishness about when Dak comes back, he's got to sit. Somebody's in a coma. They don't know football.
My guy here.
Hey, man, I enjoyed you.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the call, man.
Take care.
You know what? And I had to stop my guy before he went into this. Not Harry, the other dude, but appreciate both of the calls. It reminded me of the one caller who called in and was like, would you rather have Dak in this team, or a man said Von Miller, DJ Moore, and Bobby Wagner? Like, what is up with these crazy hypotheticals? How is we getting Von Miller, DJ Moore, and Bobby Wagner right now? Or even in the offseason, for that matter. DJ Moore was on the team. Could have had Bobby Wagner with Dak. Could have had Von Miller with Dak. Like, why we got to do this, man? This is what he said. He said, would you rather have him or Rush with, and it might not have been Bobby Wagner. It might be some other guy with that costs a lot of money or something. His whole thing was, get rid of Dak's price tag and go get all these other guys. What fantasy land are you living in where Dallas has done that? You know what I mean? And I don't mean to call out Cowboy fans, but I just what are we doing? We want them all, says Patel. Facts. No, Roberto, I'm not. Oh, I think that's what it was, Trey. It was Roquan. It's Roquan. Listen, on Madden, shit. Forced trades. No salary cap. Although the cap, yeah. But still. Hell yeah. Let's go have some fun. But let me say this about the other brother that called, who, and a lot of fans do this. Y'all don't hear me really bring up how often do I come on here and I bring up what that show said, The Undisputed, or what Skip A, Stephen A. I don't do it often because they deal with low-hanging fruit. And we're smarter than that, Bomb Squad. We're smarter than that. So, and I get it. I was definitely that person. I was watching all that stuff before it turned into this. It didn't used to be this way. This wasn't what sports television was. You want me to give you shows to go watch NFL matchups and things like that. That's really where you should be watching. But shout out to the Big Letter Network. They call you boy. Yeah, man. But that's not where it's at, man. All that's going to do is do what happens when y'all call. You be pissed off. You know what I'm saying? Let the beat build. Keep them close. Give them enough rope. They'll put themselves in the air. We just going to kick away the chair. That's it. Let the beat build, man. Because I'm telling you something right now. If something special does happen at the end of this season, we're going to have so much ammo, fam. It's going to be an infinity clip. Remember on GTA, you put in the code up, down, left, right, X circles, and you never ran out of bullets. That's going to be me. That is going to be me. So let the beat build, man. It's going to happen eventually. I don't care when it's going to happen. Eventually, let the beat build. And don't lose brain cells. You can watch it for entertainment. You can watch it to kind of, get yourself hyped up, to be upset with them and things like that. Just don't let them alter your emotions in real life. You know what I mean? Don't let them do that. These dudes, they know what they're doing. I literally agree. I mean, we've heard Dan Orlowski go on the radio and say, hey, man, we just doing this because we got to yada, yada, yada. I hit up somebody and was like, how do you deal with this? He was like, hey, it's a bit. Say no more. Say no more. With that said, this is where you want to be, man. If you enjoy this content, man, I know we had a lot of new people come up in here today. Eagle fans too, I saw y'all up in here. I don't expect you to subscribe, but at least like the video. You was up in here talking. You know what I'm saying? We'll be back tomorrow and Friday talking about this Eagles game. Y'all welcome back. Come on through. Hell, call in. You want. But do me a favor, man. Hit the like button on the way out of this thing. I will be back on later today with my guy, Vach, on the Vach Lombardi Live show over on The Volume, which is doing crazy. Richard Sherman show got Take Care of Your Mentals and Your Chicken on there. Marshawn Lynch. Check that out. But later tonight, Mo will be back on AZ Sports Prime Time. Check him out. He's always dropping some good nuggets on that show. Support. Hit me up on Twitter. If you don't know where to find me, look at the DFW turf ticker right below you. The #1 artificial turf in the DFW area. Ask Skywalker still on Twitter. I'm constantly on there talking Cowboys. It's like 99% Cowboys, 1% something else. And those who are on Twitter, y'all know I'll be rapping back to y'all. So hit me up and join me back tomorrow. Yes, sir. Devin, I am back on with Vach later today. About 3, I'm close to 3:10, but 3-ish Mafia. Holla at me. Toxic said, am I coming back to Mo's show? I'm sure at some point, man. Y'all don't know because y'all see me in the mornings and then on at 3 o'clock. But bro, it's a busy schedule, man. Some people I've talked to, it's a busy schedule. So we'll see. I'm always trying to find the time. I gotta get my mind right? Because I like to come on here with energy. I like to be right. And we all are here every day, and I appreciate y'all for being here every day. We all go through things though behind the scenes. It's a lot. So I try to make sure I compartmentalize my life to make sure that I'm good to go here, man. Thank you, L. If you want to support, you can also support via Cash App as well. and do that. So let me press this button. I'll be here all day. I swear to God, I'll be here all day. Appreciate y'all, man. Good stuff today. We definitely owe Michelle. That's right. They going F around and find out. Oh my gosh, if Cooper Rush beat them boys. Oh. Anyway, see y'all tomorrow. Love you. Peace. Three-ish Mafia, Sean. Three-ish Mafia. You wild.
Bomb Squad!